Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a workshop and a regular meeting on Tuesday, May 17, 2011, at 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Workshop item A, discussion regarding Biggest Loser and other events.
Honorable members of the Commission, good afternoon. Today, we want to give a review essentially of the activities that were held by this year for the Brownsville's Biggest Loser Challenge. The presentation today will be done by both Judy Garcia, our wellness coordinator for the city, and Dr. Belinda Reiniger, researcher for the University of Texas School of Public Health. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're so pleased to have the opportunity to talk about the Brownsville's Biggest Loser Challenge and tell you about the successes and some of the future plans. We first wanted to start to tell you why we began this effort, and it's probably and hopefully not a surprise to anyone at this point, but in Brownsville, currently we see rates of obesity and overweight and diabetes that exceed other areas of the country, particularly and even among comparison to Mexican Americans only. So in Brownsville, local and recent research indicates that 50.2% of our population is obese and an additional 30% are overweight. That, because diabetes is driven by obesity, we also see then 19.2% of our population with the most recent definition of diabetes presented by the American Diabetes Association being classified as diabetics. When you compare this to nationally the rates of the same types of conditions among Mexican Americans, we see 32.6 versus our 50, 39.9 versus our 30, and 10.4 versus our 19. What you'll notice about that is in the general population in the country, more people are overweight than obese, but actually here in Brownsville, more of us are obese rather than overweight. This may be interesting if you're interested in numbers, but the reality is, as a person who's interested in prevention and as a city interested in saving dollars and improving health, this was a call to action. Something needed to be done to address these conditions, and that's part of the purpose of the Brownsville's Biggest Loser Challenge. Not only are these, do these numbers indicate that there could be and obviously are severe health consequences, this actually translates into dollars very rapidly, both in the individual's pocket and as a municipality. For example, when we see that someone can lose approximately or greater than 5% of their body weight, we have research to show that they are averting diabetes, they are averting costs associated with cardiovascular disease. It actually provides a person about $6,649 more in their pocket because they're avoiding those costs going to care for diabetes. It saves healthcare costs to employer who may be covering those costs, or if the person is accessing state funding for their Medicaid dollars, it saves the state money. And obviously, as a municipality, we're interested in the fact that it creates a healthier workforce. If we have a population who loses weight, they become healthier, and our city becomes more appealing as a place for businesses to come. Just some numbers to back up this on economics. Persons with diabetes, the American Diabetes Association estimates that every year a person with diabetes spends $6,649 in medical expenses. That's a significant amount of money. It's particularly significant when you just look at the median family income in Brownsville being $30,000. If those $6,000 could go to spending dollars in Brownsville, that's an additional 22% that we would see in our economy. Another interesting fact, if someone moves to dialysis, the lifetime costs associated with dialysis is actually $1.5 million per individual. So the idea of preventing that obviously would save dollars. And in fact, losing, again, this kind of magic number, 5 to 7% of our body weight reduces the chances of going to diabetes by 50%. So a little bit of weight, a big payoff. So here, I'm going to turn it over to Judy, and she's going to talk about something probably much more interesting, the actual implementation of Brownsville's Biggest Loser.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. We had the first round last year in January. We had 419 participants join the Biggest Loser Challenge. In the summer, we had a summer edition, 137 participants, and then as you all know, this January we started the third season of the Biggest Loser Challenge, which altogether we came out and 919 participants joined the Biggest Loser. Including the challenge, we had free nutrition classes. We used a lot of our parks, churches, and schools to do the free exercises. We also had free yoga classes, free nutrition classes. So a lot of our resources here in the city were used for the challenge. This is a picture of our registration. This was actually the first day. It was an alternative day to go register just in case you couldn't go on the main day, which was Saturday. This was actually a Friday evening at Gonzalez Gym. And as you can see, almost the gym was occupied, and it was an hour and a half wait to get weighed in. So as you can see, people were waiting to an hour and a half when they can be, having dinner with their family, because they really saw a need to join in this challenge and to change their lifestyle of eating and exercising. I'm just going to go over some of the challenge events. We had the registration, obviously, January 7th through 8th. We had different bike rides, yoga classes, as mentioned. We had from healthy communities. It was very popular. We had a bicycle to recycle ride. The whole family was encouraged to come out and collect trash as they finished at Lincoln Park, where they received different goodies for their trash that they picked up. We also joined with BISD on their triathlon. The Trailblazers were involved. The BCHC had a free health fair, which we had different karate demos from Kang's Karate and Morales Karate. Also, continued events, we had the PUB and HEB joined up for a free cooking class at HEB on 802. They had different exercise classes, including Zumba. On April 2nd, we had the midpoint registration, which Danny Cahill, which is TV's Biggest Loser Season 8 winner, actually came and was the guest speaker at this event. You can see Danny Cahill, he's wearing the black t-shirt, and Lose Your Quit is his campaign. Lose Your Quit basically says to lose that thought of quitting. A lot of people don't finish their exercises or just quit eating healthy because it's hard. It's not easy, but you have to develop a routine where you see the results and you keep on going. So his campaign is to lose that mentality of quitting. So it was a good speech. A lot of the community came out to hear him, and they were encouraged. They took pictures and autographs, and it was a great event. April 9th, we had the Porter Brownsville 5K 1 mile walk run. UTB had healthy activity exhibits. And then, of course, on April 30th, we had the Biggest Loser World's Largest Zumba Class event. May 7th, that is a picture of our finale. We had we had the small group, large group category, and also individual winners, female and male. So those are some pictures of the finalists. Next, we have listing of free exercise classes. These are actually still going on. Even though The Biggest Loser has ended for this season, these classes are still going on, and anyone is welcome to participate. You don't have to be a participant in The Biggest Loser Challenge to go to these free exercise classes. We also have this listing on our website and on the Biggest Loser Challenge website, which is bbl.cob.us. Like I mentioned, everyone's welcome to go. Children and families are welcome, as you know. This is actually a picture of our Guinness World Records largest Zumba class, April 30th. As you can see, there are a lot of people, men, women, the elderly, kids. They're all participating and having fun doing Zumba. That is actually a line outside of the field, and it wraps around all the way. You can't see the end of it, but there's a lot of people. We opened the gates inside to go inside the field at 8:30, and there were people there already at 7 before our Zumba instructors had gotten there. So everyone was very eager to go and participate. There's our city manager, Charlie Kabler, pumping up the crowd as people walked in. There is Dr. Belinda Reiniger and Dr. Gowan, Commissioner Gowan as well, pumping up the crowd. As people walked in, they were greeted and high-fived and cheered well. This is actually, if you want to think about it, you should think about it this way. When people go and show up at these events, they want to make a change in their life. That's them saying, you know what, I recognize that I need to be healthier, and they go and participate in those events. So it's a good feeling when you see 1,223 people go out and participate because they recognize that they want to make a change. This is actually the back view of the event. The people in the green highlighter yellow shirts, those are the instructors. And so we had instructors in the front of the crowd and then throughout the crowd to lead people in the routines. And then, of course, as many of y'all had heard, we've broken the record, and we've broken it with 1,223 participants. From left to right, that is Dr. Zelma Mata. She's with UTB, Health and Human Performance Department. That's Laura Dirksey from School of Public Health, City of Brownsville, Charlie Kabler, City Manager. The lady holding the frame certificate, that is Amanda Moken. She is from Guinness World Records, and she came down to represent Guinness to present us with the award and validate this attempt. Next we have Dr. Commissioner Rose Gowan, and then we have our Public Health Director, Art Rodriguez, and then Dr. Belinda Reiniger from School of Public Health, and then of course me, which I am the Wellness Coordinator from the City of Brownsville. We want to thank the sponsors. Without the sponsors, we couldn't have done this challenge. They participated with different booths at the events. They participated with volunteers, financially. They were just ready and willing to go on board because of the success of The Biggest Loser in the past. And then the challenge results, I'll have Dr. Reiniger present the results.
All right, so just to wrap up, we want you to know that indeed this Biggest Loser challenge helped people to lose weight. And as you can see, we've created a table that compares the three time points, the three different rounds, and we're particularly focusing on the spring 2011 round. One thing to note is that the challenge, each one of the challenges is actually a length of time that allows for healthy behavior change. So it's not a fad diet when you have to sustain it for 17 weeks. They are actually making choices to improve their physical activity and improve their food choices. You see what Judy just presented to you, 919 people registered, 178 finished, and the total pounds lost by those people is over 1,700 pounds. And the magic number that we are looking for is that 5% body weight. We see that overall that group of people lost 5% of their weight, and that's what we're looking for to start reducing the costs of diabetes, and we see that. The average pounds lost is 9.6 pounds. That's a significant amount of weight, and we're just so proud of the people who took this on, and even starting something like this raises your awareness, and finishing something like this with such success is really something to be proud of. We saw overall that it's not up on the chart, but that 84% of those people who enrolled lost weight. So you may ask yourself, what's next? We feel like we're on to something that is not only raising awareness in Brownsville about the importance of a healthy weight and what that can do for your life and your pocket in terms of economics. We're also in a position where there are several other cities around the state who are replicating this model because they see what Brownsville is doing and want to be a part of that as well. And so we feel like continuing this effort is important for many reasons. We expect to have more prizes in the future to keep incentivizing more people to do this hard but important work of losing weight. We expect to have more sponsors, and every year, you saw the list that Judy put up there. It was really an amazing outpouring of support from the community. And we'd like to see more individualized feedback for the participants. As they register, we could take advantage of that hour and a half that they might be waiting in a line and provide them some more information to help them launch this effort. And you just never know, we might have to break another world's record, and a Zumba class option may be just what we're looking for. So we want to, offer the opportunity to answer any questions you may have at this point, and definitely thank you for your support, and recognize that this would not have been the success it is without the support of the city.
I think it's important, thank you. I think it's important that as a community we recognize that several things. One, we're at great risk, but it's one thing to say you're at great risk, and it's our job to translate that into many different messages to attract everyone in the community, or as many as we can, because one message doesn't work for every single person. And we're hard at work trying to develop those messages. And we have attracted many other counties who are now mirroring the farmers market, the Biggest Loser, all of that, because it has worked in our community, and that we're very proud of. But the biggest thing we're proud of is the larger number of people standing in line for hours just to participate, and certainly the growing list of sponsors, because one of the things we did see this year was a lot more corporate and teams that were formed as opposed to individuals that were registering. And we also had a lot more parents that were teaming or wanted to team with their children, including Commissioner Triani. And so people are getting their families involved instead of just themselves. So you can chuckle and laugh and think Biggest Loser, but it's actually very serious. It's very serious because it's about our children and it's about our economy. And I think knowing what our economy and what our people are like now as far as their income levels, putting $1,000 or $2,000 back in their pocket every year is a really big deal, and a much larger deal than if we were in San Antonio or Houston or New York City. So it is very serious, and it does tie very strongly to economics. There were several phone calls for the Zumba event, for example, that came from people up the valley that came to spend the weekend in Brownsville because they were going to participate in Zumba. So it also ties to tourism, and I think that we need to take our hats off to our partners at the School of Public Health and the Health Department, and now UTB, because we are trying very hard to be innovative, and this is not a typical job for a health department. And you all have taken the challenge on very, very strongly, and I think that enthusiasm shows. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stella, can I have a copy of the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Workshop item B, discussion regarding the dual customs project by Brownsville International Air Cargo and city staff. Or do you want to mention it?
We're requesting that we have this workshop at the next meeting.
Move the table.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We'll go into our regular meeting. Do y'all want a break?
No.
No? Okay. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag, pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Who do we have here for the invocation? Pastor Brad Burke?
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. We thank you for this great city you've blessed us to be a part of. Lord, I ask that you draw the hearts of the people of the city to you so that you can pour out the blessing and prosperity that you desire. Lord, that you provide the opportunities for those that want jobs, that are looking for the chance to get ahead. And Lord, I thank you for the people that have put themselves out there to serve the people of Brownsville that are standing before us here. I ask you to bless each one of them, lead and guide each one of them. Let your work be done in this meeting tonight. Your choices be in the outcome. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please be seated.
Mayor's report?
Okay. As you all very well know, we're in a transition period. You will have the city of Brownsville elected a new mayor. And I just want to say a few words. That I've had the honor and the pleasure to serve this city twice. And for me, it's been a great experience. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working with staff, all the city employees, and also serving my community. The many people I've touched, the many people that touched me. It's been a great humbling and a great honor. And nobody can take that away from me. And I'll always cherish it. I'll always remember it. And I'm always be fond of it. I hope people that if I offended anybody, it was not my intent. I always tried to do what's right for my community. For some, that was perhaps not the way they saw it, but it was never with the interest of doing any harm to anyone, but to benefit my community as a whole. Whether we agree or disagree, that's a given. Not everybody's going to agree. But I want the citizens of Brownsville to know that my service was always with the intent of serving the city of Brownsville. I never benefited. I know some people like to spread about the $26,000 $139 check. I can assure you, I've given more of myself personally in money to serve my community, in time to serve my community. That incident, how it happened, nobody will ever know, because we never know how that check got to me. But to promote it and make it seem like I did something wrong when two juries found that I committed no crime, and to continue to use it, well, I'll leave it to my maker to be the judge when I know my heart is pure. Never did I benefit from my community. Those that use that to form alliances, and for whatever reason, I hope they use the same energy to build a good community, to help Brownsville. I hope they use that energy in a constructive way, not in a destructive way. We have made much progress in the past 4 years. There's some projects that will come to fruition after I leave. Glore Park's been 3 years in the making. I think it's going to be a people and a dog park. It's going to be a nice park over there by Land O'Lakes. Many of you perhaps have seen the new hurricane awareness booklet that will be going out in the mail. It took me 3 years to get that done. Initiatives like that as mayor are accomplishments that I hope people realize that, you know, it takes time to serve. It takes time to bring these initiatives and get them to fruition. But I know that there are many, many good people here, the citizens and the employees above all else, that give their heart out. day in, day out, they get no recognition. You know, and they just are here to serve you. And sometimes we even take advantage of them. I want to thank them for all the work they have done while I've been here. And I know sometimes they don't hear it enough. Staff, and particularly at the management level, has always been very cooperative with me. The city manager has always been very cooperative with me. Sometimes we had difference of opinion, but that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I want to thank you, Charlie. It's been great 4 years. We formed alliances with Mexico. I received many, many books, the history of Mexico, and they're good books, they're valuable books. I have a ton of books that I will be donating to the public library. That's to promote our culture. We're a multicultural community, but our neighbors to the south have been very important to Brownsville and to me. And that's why it was so important to form those alliances. I will make sure that all these books, plus all the boxes I have, that will be taken to the library, and they'll be there for your use and enjoyment. Now, we have the Porter High School students here for recycling. Are they here? Nobody contacted them? Okay, would you come forward, please?
Mayor, may I say one thing before that? I've neglected to say, no, you guys can still come forward. I neglected to say during the workshop is that Brownsville became a Let's Move city a little over a year ago. Let's Move is the First Lady's campaign to reduce childhood obesity in this generation. And we submitted at the end of a year the activities that we've done as a community, such as the Zumba and the Biggest Loser in the Farmers Market, for consideration. And it's called the Healthy Innovation Award. And there were 250 entries from around the country, and Brownsville's been chosen in the top 3 for the whole country in the category of towns and cities. We are the month of May through May 31st is public voting. So the library has created a way to vote easily. You go to vote.cob.us, vote.cob.us, and you can cast your vote for Brownsville. After public voting in May, the judges will reconsider the finalists, and we may, in fact, be recognized on a national level. It's important to note as you go to that website that the two entities that we're competing against are Denver and a suburb of Boston. So Brownsville, very small Brownsville compared to Denver and Boston, are being considered in the top 3. So please go to that website, vote.cob.us, before May 31st and cast your vote.
Thank you, Commissioner. Please, Patty O'Bell, if you'd like to take the podium.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here tonight as a recycling leader at Porter High School. And I have my students here who were considered the top students for the recycling effort that was sponsored by Keep Brownsville Beautiful. We participated in 2 events, the plastic recycling of the bottles, and we also participated in your phone book recycling challenge, where we collected over 1,800 phone books, and we won the challenge against the other high schools. These students work so hard all year round to represent our campus in the community by taking part in various activities. Let's remember that this was done in their own time, on Saturday mornings and sometimes all day on Saturday. They worked very hard. The students participated in other events such as the sports park cleanup, Texas Recycles Day, the graffiti painting of downtown, Party for the Planet at the Zoo, the Earth Day events, and the world record-breaking Zumba event. They even participated there. They are known as the Porter High School Recycling Team, and they are not a club because you see everyone on campus is part of our team. The team is a family made up of Porter students, parents, faculty, and staff. We all work together to help out somehow, especially in the competitions, by doing our own part to protect our planets. I am just considering myself a leader. I am not a sponsor because we don't have a club. We are a family. And I'm the proud sponsor of this whole event. And I'm proud to have the students here who are coming over, please. This is Lázaro Cárdenas, Jesus Sanchez, and Sergio Limas, who are the ones that did the most of the work, and they went to almost every event. They were also recognized at our school for the top recycling. Jesus was the top volunteer for the whole year. Sergio collected most of the phone books and so did Lázaro. So I'm very proud to be here tonight and would like to thank you on behalf of Porter High School for this recognition. And I want to especially thank Mayor Pedro Ahumada for attending our award ceremony this past week. He recognized our students with special certificates. So I want to thank him for taking his time and coming to our campus to recognize our students at our own awards ceremony. So thank you very much. We appreciate everything you do. We're here to help you. And of course, go green.
Thank you very much. I will have one more meeting to attend. I'm very proud to be your mayor to the very last minute. If I can be of any assistance, feel free to call me. I've always been accessible to the public. And it'll be, I think, the 24th, the next meeting, Stella?
The next item is Commissioners' Report.
24th?
It was a question. The next meeting.
The next
Oh, I'm
meeting?
sorry, pardon me. The next meeting is the 24th of May, where we will canvass the results
Okay.
and swear in a couple of the successful candidates, and then we will also call for a runoff election for the other two positions.
I hope to return back to the private sector, earn some money, which I have neglected to do while focusing too much on this responsibility that I had as mayor. It's a big responsibility. And I will continue with the humanitarian agenda that I'm very passionate about. And I'll be around the community. If I can ever be of service, please feel free to contact me. And next year report is Commissioner Longoria.
There's several projects that we purposely halted because of the election. I want to thank Santana Torres and Carlos Lastra for doing that. I didn't want to be accused during the election of doing certain projects for votes. So thank you for that, and then hopefully we can fall back on schedule and start working on those right away. Quiero asegurarle a la gente que vive en la calle en la East Avenue, en toda esa área, en la villita, que el trabajo que se está haciendo es por parte de PUB. La compañía ya va a comenzar con el lift station, ya va a comenzar a hacerse todo ese trabajo, y ya entrando toda la tubería nueva, se va a volver a pavimentar la calle y va a quedar todo en orden otra vez dentro de esa área, dándonos una calle de 15 a 20 años más con servicio. So once again, now that we're done with the election, I want to thank everybody that went out and voted, and at the same time, now that we can get back on schedule with some of those projects that had been halted. Thank you.
Okay. I forgot on my mayor's report one more thing. I removed B. Lopez from Brownsville Housing Authority, and I appointed Troy Whittemore to Brownsville Housing Authority. It's effective immediately. Next report is Charlie Atkinson, who is missing. Commissioner Camarillo.
I'll pass on my report, Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Gowan.
That was it.
Okay. Proclamations. Charlie Atkinson, Commissioner Charlie Atkinson, Jaime Jorge Zapata. He is not here.
I'm going to do it on behalf of Commissioner Atkinson. So, Mr. and Mrs. Zapata, if you would please honor us by coming forward. Charlie and I had the honor of sponsoring not just the proclamation, but the naming of the street. And after certain negotiations, unfortunately had to get done, but all parties are happy. We're able to recognize and to bring some sort of recognition in honor of your son and in gratitude, not just to the people present, but of this community for his service to his country and to the city. So thank you very much for taking time out of your schedules to be here with us today. The following is a proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, honoring Jaime Jorge Zapata for his ultimate sacrifice for his country. Whereas Jorge Jaime Zapata was a native of Brownsville, Texas, whose parents still live here in Brownsville, Texas, and who attended local schools, graduated from the University of Texas at Brownsville and Texas Southmost College, and then entered into service to his country by joining the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. as a special agent in 2000. And whereas Jaime Jorge Zapata served as the Human Smuggling and Traffic Unit, as well as the Border Security Task Force in Laredo, Texas, before being assigned by ICE to a diplomatic mission in Mexico City. And whereas on February 15, 2011, Special Agents Jorge Jaime Zapata and Victor Avila were on a diplomatic mission between Mexico City and Monterrey, traveling in a car that displayed diplomatic license plates, where they stopped at a Zeta cartel checkpoint manned by criminals armed with automatic weapons. And whereas, despite the fact that both agents identified themselves as diplomats, the Zeta cartel gangsters sprayed, I'm sorry, this is just not worth reading on a proclamation in honor of your son, but for his courageous efforts and for his life and everything that he did for this country. The city of the Brownsville now hereby honors the memory of Jorge Jaime Zapata and salutes the sacrifice that he made to his country. Now therefore, we the members of the City Commission, the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby honor Jaime Jorge Zapata and further urge all our citizens to remember him as a patriot and keep him and his family in their prayers. And this is done this first day. It was dated on the first day of March, 2011, signed by our current mayor, Pat Ahumada Jr., and the City Commission. Thank you so very much for honoring us here with your presence and for your son's life. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank everybody, the community, the mayor, the commissioners, everybody that has given their support, their contributions, their dedications for my son. I will always be grateful for all that you have done. My son was a wonderful person, a wonderful human being. He deserved better. Thank you.
The phone book recycling proclamation.
For high school Cowboy soccer team.
No,
Are they here?
we have the book recycling challenge first. Home book recycling?
Okay. Home book. Over here?
Yes. She didn't have to talk. Didn't do the proclamation.
I'd also ask Roberto and Eli, if you're here, to please come forward and be a part of the proclamation. Eli and Roberto are the two individuals as part of City of Brownsville that have worked extremely hard on behalf of KBB and worked with Porter, as well as many of the other schools, to put together the program of the recycling phone books, as well as the plastic bottles. So I give very much thanks to Roberto and both Eli, who couldn't be here today. They've done outstanding work for the City of Brownsville and working with all these other local students and other nonprofits. I appreciate all the work, Roberto, that you all have given over the last couple of years. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, commending Gladys Porter High School students for their work with Keep Brownsville Beautiful. Whereas during the 2010-2011 school year, a group of Gladys Porter High School students, in cooperation with Keep Brownsville Beautiful, completed a successful phone book challenge, in which students, volunteers, collected more phone books for recycling than all the other schools in the competition. And whereas a group of 12 volunteer students organized a school-wide effort and was able to recruit the entire campus in their phone book collecting effort, also recruiting parents and local businesses, and visiting South Padre Island and Lomito in the quest for phone books to recycle. And whereas at the end of this drive, some 2,000 phone books were collected for the recycling. And whereas students participating in this prize-winning drive include Xavier Aguilar, Julie Bagla, Erica Sanchez, Jesus Sanchez, Sarasi Salas, Sergio Limas, Lázaro Cárdenas, Joel Ortega, Brittany Valerio, Jacob Benavides, Eddie Hilaraz, and Alexander Baron. Whereas the group was directed by school principal Dora Sauceda, assistant principal Carlos Moreno, and the team leader Patty Obel, who was also recognized by the Rotary Club of Bronzeville as High School Teacher of the Year. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of Bronzeville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby commend a group of 12 Gladys Porter High School students for their efforts in winning the phone book challenge, and hereby helping keep Bronzeville beautiful. Done on this 17th day of May, 2011, signed by our Mayor, Pat Humada, and the entire City Commission. Congratulations.
I would like to acknowledge my school principal, Mr. Moreno, who's here, who is also my appraiser and my leader in the campus, and he's also part of the science department. So I'd like to acknowledge him for all his support and thank him for all the different efforts and everything I got him involved that he had no idea he was going to be part of. So thank you, Mr. Moreno. Thank you, Mayor Amada, for all your support, and thank you, commissioners.
They're being recognized by the board.
This is the second, so we could present you as a
This is a proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, congratulating the Porter Cowboys men's soccer team on its championship 2011 season. Whereas the Porter High School men's soccer team qualified for the state semifinals in Georgetown, Texas on April 15, 2011, after a highly successful season. And whereas the team ended its regular season with a win-loss record of 32-4, including winning the Brownsville Independent School District Tournament, the La Jolla Tournament, the Region 4 Championship, and qualifying for the state semifinals. And whereas the Cowboys defeated the favorite Lopez Lobos 2-0 in the regional semifinal game to earn a trip to the state playoffs. And whereas in the semifinal games, the Porter Cowboys performed like champions but lost to Round Rock McNeil High School 2-0. And whereas the team finished the second season ranked number 4th in Texas and 22nd in the nation, and thus continued what has become a winning soccer tradition at Porter High School. And whereas we congratulate my very good friend, Coach Jose Spitia, and his players on a successful season that once again puts our city on the statewide and national soccer map. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby congratulate the Porter Cowboys men's soccer team on its championship 2011 season, done this 3rd day of May, 2011, and signed by Pat M. Amada, Jr., Mayor, and the City Commission. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. On behalf of our Porter High School NRB ISD district, we humbly accept this honor bestowed upon us by the City Commission and our mayor. They had a very tough season. They played their hearts out, and they represented Brownsville very well. So long live our Porter Nation. Thank you.
Coach, if you'd come up, and all of your family and former players and people here to support you, I'd appreciate if they'd come up too. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville recognizing Modesto Mo Garcia. Whereas Modesto Mo Garcia is a native of San Diego, Texas, born on May 31st, 1928, completed elementary and secondary education there before entering the U.S. Army in 1946, and after receiving an honorable discharge in 1947, went to complete his education first at Laredo Junior College, then Southwest Texas State University, graduating in 1954. And whereas Mo Garcia began his 35-year coaching career in 1954 at San Diego High School, and in 1965 left there for a coaching job at Rio Grande City High School, and there to Robstown High School in 1967, then to Falfurrias High School in 1972, before winding up his coaching days at Homer Hanna High School, where he coached from 1983 through 1987. And whereas during his long tenure as coach, Mo Garcia amassed a resume that included a record of 115, 83 and 4 in 20 years of football coaching, and 200 to 120 record in 11 years as basketball coach, 8 district championships in 11 years as track coach, 6 years as cross-country coach, and 1 district championship in 2 years of golf coaching. And whereas in 1992, Mo Garcia was inducted into the Coastal Bend Coaches Association Hall of Honor, and in 1997 was inducted into the Southwest Texas University Association Hall of Honor. And whereas Mo Garcia has been married for 53 years to Gloria Valerio Garcia, and they are the proud parents of Sally, Arnold, Arturo, and Stella, who is raising twin 13-year-old granddaughters, Margarita, Margaret, and Maria. And whereas Modesto Mo Garcia retired from coaching in 1987 and has since that time served on the St. Mary's Church Parish Council and is active on the church's finance committee. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby recognize Modesto Mo Garcia and commend him on more than 5 decades of service to the South Texas community, done on this, the 17th day of May, 2011. Signed, Pat M. Almada, Jr., and the rest of the City Commission. Congratulations, Coach. And I apologize, but I think we forgot your son, Adrian. But we've got the recognition on TV, right? Congratulations.
I want to thank you for having us here. I had a tremendous career for 35 years, and we ended in Brownsville, Texas, which was the best step we could ever take. This guy up here had already quit going to college, so we brought him up here to go to college, so he was roughnecking. I said, well, go back and start working. I said, you must be crazy. I was working. Now he don't do much, and he enjoys his job. And there's people up here, all college graduates, master's degrees. She's working on her doctor's. My wife is a Texas women major biology and chemistry, and she taught for 34 years. I taught for 35 years. What ran me off of coaching was Bill 72, that I had to kick him out of the program because they flunked the course. And at the time, we had 210 football players in Hannah at the high school. 210. I lost 110 on grades. I decided I was going to quit. But that was my 35th year. And now I've been selling trophies for 24 years, so I'm still working. But we're having a ball. Brownsville, you've been very good to us, and more so today, Mayor. Thank you.
Commissioner Zamora's not here?
No, sir.
Hey. Did she leave any instructions for this?
No, she did not.
No? Okay, can we, are people here from PFLAG? Okay, we'll do the presentation on behalf of Commissioner Zamora.
You want your proclamation then?
Your proclamation?
Yes, thank you. Sorry. No.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for giving PFLAG the opportunity to come before you speak today. PFLAG is a relatively new organization which stands for Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. It's a grassroots organization. It's nationally recognized, has over 200,000 members across the country, and several more worldwide. PFLAG is non-religious, it's non-political, but we do provide a list of options when it's requested by those attending our meetings when they want to know which churches provide welcoming congregations, politicians who are accepting and supportive of the LGBT community, or services that they can access if necessary. The Brownsville chapter of PFLAG is the second border chapter in Texas, and it's the first chapter in the Rio Grande Valley, so we're historic. Really, if you think about it, we've made history by actually establishing ourselves here in this community. PFLAG is important for many reasons and integral to the entire community. When an individual comes out, it's a process for everyone involved. Some people process faster than others, but it's still a process. The thing is that by supporting families and friends, educating the community in general, and standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves by showing the humanity in the LGBT community, this process can be facilitated through acceptance and acknowledgement, especially from the families and their friends. PFLAG has traveled a long way to Brownsville in terms of time and distance. On slide 2 of the presentation, the woman in the photo is Jean Manford. Always the supportive mother, she decided to march with her son in the 1972 Gay Pride Parade in New York City. After seeing her son being kicked and beaten while police failed to intervene during a demonstration. She was outraged, and she was a parent who loved her child so much that she recognized that loving her son was more important than society's issues with his sexual orientation. When she was marching in the parade, many other gay people came up to her asking her to talk to their parents. The following year, the first formal meeting of parents of gays, or POG, was held in a church, of all places, in 1973 in New York City. The Brownsville chapter has been a work in progress, but the recent series of events in the news, in the schools, across the country, and in listening to certain types of stereotypes and misconceptions concerning the LGBT community from local people, it's just no longer acceptable. Last year in 2010, a group of dedicated and concerned citizens decided to start a chapter in Brownsville, Texas. PFLAG is looking to put a face on the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community, their families and friends, in hopes of preventing the rhetoric that often injures and turns right around and justifies that damage on a significant portion of our society. The mission of PFLAG is to promote the health and well-being of the LGBT community, their families, and their friends through support, education, and advocacy. Support for the LGBT community, their families and friends, so they can understand they're not alone. Education for the families and friends and community at large about the LGBT community to counter the rhetoric that is currently in the community that is so misleading. The advocacy part is what we're doing here, and this is where you come in. We come before you as city leaders because we want you to understand that you're serving a large constituency, and a diverse one at that. Your service will have to be even-handed, especially when dealing with issues that violate a person's civil rights because of certain uninformed beliefs. PFLAG is an organization that provides an opportunity to talk about sexual orientation and sexual identity in a mature manner. Although some people will be uncomfortable with the subject matter, an educated society is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to this issue. If we are better educated, then we are healthier and more respectful of one another, especially if we know the facts. Some individuals prey on the fact that people are uninformed, and that doesn't help anyone. If anything, it blames the victim in this case, and the result is more hindering than helpful. Furthermore, it perpetuates stereotypes that are archaic and just plain wrong, and to be honest with you, they're mean. The lack of consideration divides families rather than unites them. The lack of consideration hurts people rather than, and especially children, rather than helping them. The lack of consideration can destroy a family and a community rather than bringing it together. PFLAG's objectives are to end the discrimination, and we're trying to secure rights for everyone, not special rights, equal rights, by providing accurate information. Right now, that is not the case in this community, and we're hoping you'll have a sympathetic ear and an open mind. Within the presentation, you can find our mission statement, our strategic goals, and our vision. Feel free to look them over when you have the time to do so. Right now, I would like to introduce the board. Unfortunately, my board could not make it today because of previous engagements and family illness, but I am Yolanda Spies. I am the president and founder of PFLAG Brownsville. Felix Espinosa is my president and acting treasurer, and Eileen Dominguez is my secretary. We're also pending new board members from the various community organizations such as UTB Change, that's the University's Gay Straight Alliance for those of you that are not familiar, and the High School Gay Straight Alliance liaisons as well. We're also working with the Valley AIDS Council. PFLAG meets every first Monday of the month at 6 p.m. at various locations around town. The number you can call to find out where we meet is 433-3524 or simply 433-FLAG. And after the formal meeting, we usually have a guest speaker, and they're from various organizations that provide services to the community at large, but they focus specifically on LGBT issues when they come and present for us. We call those the Empowerment Lecture Series. And on the next slide, you can see a list of some of the guests we've had so far, what the guests we plan on having as well at our meetings for the rest of the year. Other events that we have are Armoire Theater Films, which happens every second Saturday of the month at 124 Paredes Line Road. During the cooler months, we view the films in the afternoons. In the warmer months, we view the films in the evening. and you can call that 433 flag number for details as far as the times are concerned. And as you know, June is National Gay Pride Month. And we have our first fundraiser and membership drive coming up, which we're really excited about. It's called Margaritas on the River. And it's going to be taking place June 3rd at 7 p.m. at Cobbleheads Bar and Grill. We hope that this presentation has been informative, and at this time, I'd like to open it up the floor if you all have any questions concerning the organization.
No, I just want to thank you for bringing this subject and raising awareness here and in the community. And we know that through education, there is a better understanding. And perhaps we can change the culture of intolerance and acceptance. It's not for us to judge or in any way discriminate anyone. We're here as a family of this world, and we should find ways to accept the differences there are between people. And I want to thank you for raising your awareness.
Actually, I would like to thank you and Ms. Zamora for actually coming to the meetings. You all have come to the meetings on a few occasions, and for that, we're very grateful because we know that we have an open ear and an open mind with you all.
And as mayor, I'm here to support everybody, and I appreciate the invitation, and I support and encourage you to continue so people have a better understanding.
Thank
Okay?
you so much.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, consent
Consent items?
agenda items.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 6,
Item 6, consideration and action to appoint one individual to the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee.
I have a.
I think that's my appointment.
Actually, it's mine.
No.
No, Mayor, one of his members resigned.
Oh,
So-
That's mine.
And you had two appointments, and you appointed two last time.
No, but I said I would leave it to the next mayor, let him put somebody there on that committee. Okay? Go
Okay,
ahead.
so my appointment would be Mr. Humberto Izaguirre. He has his application, it's on file, and I'd so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so the two appointments will be left over for the next administration. Item 7,
Item 7, consideration and action to appoint one individual to the World Birding Center Board of Directors.
okay, I picked Pat Birchfield because I think he's the most qualified to serve on this board, and I think the deadline's imminent there, so Commissioner Zamora co-sponsored this item. I'd like to make
Second.
the motion to appoint Pat Birchfield.
Second.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Please notify him that he got on the World Birding Center,
Yes.
okay? And I know he's going to do a great job. Item 8,
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2011-1543 to authorize the city manager to abandon and close a portion of a 10-foot utility easement located in Lot 2, Block 2 of Wild Olive subdivision.
Good evening. My name is Eduardo Santillan with the Engineering Department. We have a request to abandon a portion of 10-foot utility easement. We have contacted all the utility companies, and there's no opposition to this request. We recommend approval.
okay, there's a recommendation. This is a public hearing. Is anybody against this? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This is an action item. Can I have a
Move to
motion? Motion to
Second.
approve. Can I have a second? By
Second.
Commissioner Longoria, or Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item 9, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2011-009-CO to rezone dwelling G to medium retail conditional overlay for .87 acres of Share 12 of Espiritu Santo Grant located near West Alton Glore and Lakeway Drive.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, with this particular case, the area is shaded in red. As you can see, Alton Glore curves in that particular part of the community, and Lakeway is immediately to the west of that project. In this particular case, the applicant wants medium retail to have a little strip center, retail center,
In this particular case, working with the neighborhood, we came up with an overlay, which is a new innovative tool that we're using in our zoning department, where we meet with the applicant, we meet with the neighborhood. As you know, this neighborhood is very conscious of what develops along Alton Lore. So the applicant, the neighborhood and staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission all work together to develop an overlay, in which we list in the overlay are not permitted uses. In this particular case, all parties agreed on the uses, and we ask for your approval.
Okay, this is a public hearing.
Move to close.
A motion to close in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Triani, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2011-010-S to allow a parking lot specific use in a dwelling A for Lot 6, Block 40 of East Brownsville Addition, located at 3225 East 26th Street in Brownsville, Texas.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, in this case on Southmost, the Wells Fargo Bank wants to extend their parking lot in the rear, and they are adjacent to their bank, and they have purchased that site and it's just part of their parking. So P&Z recommended to approval of the project.
Okay, approval. This is a public hearing. Anybody want to speak on this? If not, can I have a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Triani, second by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Move to approve.
Motion
Second.
to approve by Commissioner Longoria and second by Commissioner Triani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 11.
Item 11, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2011-011 to rezone from dwelling Z to medium retail G for Lot 1, Block 1 and Lot 1A, Block 1 of Paso Real subdivision located near North Minnesota Avenue and Paseo Real Drive.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, in this zoning case, the applicant wants to have a small grocery store on Minnesota, and that's the area shaded in red. Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this application to you.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Anybody have anything to say on this? No? Can I have a motion to close?
Move to close.
Second.
A motion to close by Commissioner Triani, second by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
Approved by Commissioner Triani, second by Commissioner Gowan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 12.
Item 12, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2011-1200.138 to accept a petition for annexation and the annexation of said property into the city limits and dealing with related matters.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this is a voluntary annexation petition by Cameron County. As you can see, that's the area shaded in blue there. That's the right adjacent to the West Rail on 1732. The switches on the rail need electrical power, and in order for PUB to service those switches, they need to be part of the city of Brownsville. So we are asking for annexation of that strip of land into the city limits. This is a public hearing.
Okay, this is a public hearing.
Move to close.
Second.
A motion to close in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action item.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Camarillo, second by Commissioner Longoria. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public comments? Action items, 14.
Item 14, consideration and action to approve the execution of a contract by and between West Morrison Road Public Improvement District and Peterson Construction Company for the construction of West Morrison Road in Brownsville.
Mr. Sassi, you want
This is basically going to be an agreement between the West Morrison PID and Peterson Construction. I would request that the City Commission approve it, but subject to approval by City Attorney for final revisions.
I have a question. I had spoken to someone about the plans, and I know that initially there was a question about a bike path, and at the time it was kind of laughed at. And then I guess now the TxDOT has changed the rules regarding.
Correct. There's a new law that went in, and one of the reasons that I want the City Commission to approve it, but subject to legal review, is to make sure we're in compliance with that exact statute.
Okay, because I think there was some language or some in comments that they were not going to include a bike path, but now TxDOT
Well,
requires
we're going to
that.
make sure that any legal requirements are complied with prior to approving this.
Thank you.
Y'all want to say anything?
It's called Complete Streets.
Perfect.
Dennis?
I believe that, Commissioners, I believe that the bike path is going to be addressed in the, they're going to make
You need
extra
to speak
wide
closer to the
sidewalks.
mic, because it's hard to hear.
Excuse me. I believe that the bike path is going to be addressed by making extra wide sidewalks off the road.
Okay.
As long as we're in compliance with state.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're in compliance before we get final legal approval.
The road's going to be built in compliance with the TxDOT regulations because they're the ones who designed the road.
Then it won't be a problem then.
Pardon?
Then it won't be a problem.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Can we have a motion for approval based on the recommendation of
Move to approve.
legal? We have a
I would
motion.
make a motion to approve subject to legal's review and compliance with TxDOT regulations.
We have, you're the second. We have. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You have a motion and a second by Commissioner Triani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I think Mr. Sanchez said something.
I'm sorry to hear you.
The contract's ready to sign, and the contract is very time specific because of the cost of asphalt, and it's going to go up. It's been going up every week.
What's the time frame?
For Peterson Construction gave us a bid.
Dennis, we can get that to you in the next couple of days. We can
Okay,
make it very
if we
quick,
can get it in the next
okay?
couple of days,
But
because-
we do need to address some issues.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Aye.
Item 15.
Item 15, consideration and action to authorize the City of Brownsville Police Department to apply for the 2011 COP hiring program grant funds being funded by the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of the Community-Oriented Policing Services, to address its community policing capacity and problem-solving efforts.
Mayor, members of the commission, good evening. Tonight we seek authority, authorization for the city manager to apply to the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services fiscal year 2011 COPS hiring program. An application to fund 12 police entry-level positions for the next 3 years. Definitely the second and third year we would have to make up the difference of that entry-level salary. In addition to that, we would have to also pick up those positions at the end of 3 years. It's just an application. We have not been authorized for funding yet, but hopefully we will get
We have
something
a motion
done.
to approve by Commissioner Longoria and second by Commissioner Triani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item
Thank you.
16. Item
Thank
16.
you.
Item 16, I'm sorry, item 17. Item 16, consideration and action regarding Resolution 2011-037, in support of the newly established chapter of Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item 17, consideration and action to award a contract for engineering and surveying services for capital improvement, street and drainage improvement projects for the City of Brownsville Engineering Department.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, the recap on this item is that on January the 18th, 2011, the Purchasing and Contracting Services Department presented a term contract on the rotation list before City Commission for several engineering firms. Now, in March, and in the months of March and April of this year, the City of Brownsville received a letter from several engineering and surveying firms to request design work for several streets. That's Honeydale Road from East Los Ebanos to Walrose Lane, Los Ebanos Boulevard to Old Alice to Frontage Road, and from Paredes Road to Boca Chica, and El Paso Road from Old Military Highway to Walrose Lane. The staff recommendation is to award a contract for engineering and surveying services for capital improvement, streets and drainage improvement projects for the City of Brownsville Engineering Department to Gonzalez Engineers, AGH Engineers, Plager Engineering, and Mejia and Rose, all of them out of Brownsville, Texas, for a total amount of $169,317.81. And there's a breakdown on the several contracts. Funding is in place, and the administration of the engineering department concurs with this recommendation.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 18.
Item 18, consideration and action to award a term contract for engineering and surveying services for traffic signal design on a rotation list for the City of Brownsville Traffic Department.
Staff recommendation is to award a term contract for engineering and surveying services for traffic signal design on a rotation list for a fixed rate of 16.5% of the awarded construction contract amounts with two firms, Aldana Engineering of Westlaco, Texas, and Traffic Engineers out of Houston, Texas. This contract shall commence upon award by City Commission and shall expire September 30th, 2012, and we have the option for 2 additional years. Funding for these services will be derived from professional services out of each department, and the administration of the traffic department concurs with this recommendation.
Move to
Okay,
approve.
we have a motion? Second. A motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Before we
Thank you.
adjourn, I want to let you know there was going to be a hurricane fair Thursday, May 26th, between 4 and 8 p.m. at the Southmost Public Library, 4320 Southmost Road. Every year that we host these events, they're very, very successful. A lot of people attend, so I want to repeat the date. Thursday, May 26th, 4 to 8 p.m. at the Southmost Public Library. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Let's go.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed can stay. Thank you all.